Hey, everybody. So today we're talking with Alisha Collins. Alisha Collins, a very, very impressive agent who is absolutely crushing it. And I met her in 2019, and she was active on YouTube, but her YouTube strategy could definitely use some tweaking, some improvement. And after 2019, she finally signed up for my course, my YouTube Lead Gen for Real Estate Agent course. And she's completely transformed her YouTube channel, is now generating leads, closing deals that she's generated from her YouTube channel. Today, we're going to bring her on, talk to her about, what are some of the biggest lessons that she's learned from my course, the biggest changes to her YouTube strategy, and what her tips are for agents who are looking to crush it on YouTube as well. Alisha, how are you?
Hey, Malcolm. I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing really good. Thanks so much for joining me today. Could you start off by telling us a little bit, what does your business look like? Where are you located? Kind of an idea of what your production may be?
Sure. I am in Casper, Wyoming. There's about 65,000 people. That's it.
Okay.
And I did a lot of Facebook, and I wanted to reach a different audience. I had kind of already mastered that. And so I met you, and I remember you telling me that all these things about YouTube, and I thought, there's no way I can do that, first of all. And so anyway, I live in Casper. I don't know why I'm a little nervous.
Because it's live. Live streams make everybody a little nervous. They do. Even me. I get butterflies in my stomach when I do live streams.
So anyway, okay. So I live in Casper, Wyoming. I have a team. There are 5 agents that we all work together. I'm the team lead. The average sales price in Casper is about $286. We sell somewhere between 240 and 300 homes a year.
So let that sink in. That is a wild number right there. That is a huge, huge number. Yeah. Very, very impressive. Okay, great.
Yep.
And so you were on YouTube. You had a kind of a YouTube strategy going on. It sounds like you're doing mostly Facebook. And so you were doing a lot of videos on Facebook at that time, right? And that's kind of your main platform.
I still do. Yep.
And then, so you were just kind of porting those over to your YouTube channel as kind of a place to store your videos there on YouTube. Right. And that's really common. I see that a lot with a lot of agents. There's a lot of people in general. And so what are some of like the biggest lessons that you've learned from my course, or the biggest changes that you've made to your channel after taking my course?
So I think I thought that I didn't have time. I couldn't create the content to go on YouTube. I wasn't going to be able to figure out the keywords. How was I going to figure out what I was going to, what I was even going to make a video on? And so in the kind of the middle of COVID, I thought, I think I should start this. So my very first video was pros and cons of living in Casper. It's the first one there. 80,000 views. I spent no money behind that. It was
fantastic. I love hearing that.
I haven't actually I spend money on Facebook, but I do not spend any money on YouTube.
Good.
So anyway, this one, my husband always says you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. And I think that's true with this video because it was 100 degrees outside. I was walking, I was sweating. I think I cleared my throat at the beginning of the video. Like it wasn't, I've gotten a lot better, but anyway, I just picked some keywords that I was going to use. I did it probably on this one after I did the video, but I just went all in with the 10 things that I started at the top of the 10 things you thought we should do. That's where I got that. And then I think the second one was the things that, or why Wyoming, can't remember exactly what it was, but why Wyoming is the #1 place to live. So that one kind of took off. And since then I've just, done before moving to Casper. Here's the local things, or here's what a local says that's lived here forever. Here's the things that I've learned about living in Wyoming in the last 40 years. The wind is a big deal. So I did the wind situation, and you can see that I think my thumbnails, have gone, probably all of us, they've gone through a progression.
Right. Yeah. And that's most people, even me. My thumbnails are constantly evolving, and that is one big difference I noticed on your channel. If I go back to about a little over a year ago, I noticed that your video lengths are much smaller. So these were probably Facebook videos that you ported over.
Mm-hmm.
And you only had custom thumbnails for a few of these, and then other ones just
Right.
kind of have that default image from the video. And now, like, your thumbnails look great. You have like that consistency and the style and the color, so they're easily recognizable. You got a nice big face. You got clear text in a lot of them. Yeah, now your thumbnails have really kind of upped your game with your thumbnails.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what are you doing? How do you do your thumbnails? Are you making those yourself? Do you have an assistant who are making those for you?
I make them. I tried to let or have an assistant, or I don't know what the right word is, but
Right.
Do that. And I didn't like how they turned out. So I kind of control how those work. And I'm still doing all of my own keyword research as well. And I am going to try to get her to take that over, because that takes me a while.
Right. Yeah. That's
And
good.
sometimes I have a video ready to go and I don't have the thumbnail or the keyword research as done as much as I want it to be done. So I think it's something I need to do, but right now I'm not.
That's all right. And so, what of you're generating leads from your channel right now? Like, how many
Yes.
leads a month or how many leads a week do you think you're generating from this channel?
I think I usually at least get one or two, but I go through, and I think I've heard a lot of people say this, that they go up and down with leads. So I'll get like phone call after phone call, 4 phone calls in a row.
Right.
My phone all the time are YouTube leads, and then I'll go a week and not get any, and then I'll get 5 more. It's so interesting how it works. But the interesting thing is that most of the people, they think they know me. They think we're best friends when they call me. And that's what I love the most. Like, and all of them say, Alisha, you are real. What you are on video is how you are in person. And so I really like that, because it takes down the boundary already.
Right. And so you do a lot of Facebook leads. So are these leads a lot easier than Facebook leads?
Yes. I mean, the quantity's less, right?
Yeah.
And so I think, in my mind, I learned all that from Krista Mayshore, the Facebook side.
Mm-hmm.
And in my mind, that is a piece of my business. It's a pillar, right? But so is YouTube.
Yeah.
And I think that the more we do, the more we don't have to pay for leads somewhere else. And I think that's a really important point, because all of those leads are just more. I mean, they're just becoming more expensive from the big guys.
Yeah, I mean, you're competing with all the big guys with the Facebook ads. And so, what you mentioned before, that you think that the average cost of the home that you're selling to YouTube leads is higher than your average lead. Is that right?
Yes. So
talk to us about that.
So the average sales price in Casper is about $285, like I said, or $286. And the Facebook leads we're getting, they're buying houses between probably like around $450, and I get a few that are less, but most of them are $450 and up. I think the highest home we've sold was this year, and I think it was like $670, and it came from YouTube.
Wow, that's fantastic. Mm-hmm. Wow. So that's more than double your average your price there. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing I like about YouTube is you can kind of, if you want to go after that luxury buyers, you can make certain videos that go after luxury people, luxury neighborhoods, and kind of curtail that a little bit. Now, you before were saying that you've got you're trying a new strategy with your community tab on your YouTube channel. So you're up to 3,000 subscribers pretty much. So you've unlocked the community tab. What is your strategy with your community tab? What are some of these tricks that you're using here?
So first I think that we are constantly trying to think of content to create, right? Mm-hmm. So I want to make a video that people want to watch. And so I thought, how am I going to do this? Because I'm running out of ideas. So I did 2 things. The first one was this. So I said, hey, what concerns you the most about moving to Wyoming? So I've done wind and snow and some of those, but that got me a conversation with somebody, and I put them in my lead group, and I send them send them properties, every day. Mm-hmm. And I thought, okay, I need some content. So, what things interest you? Where are you from? Because I have done some Casper versus, or Wyoming versus Montana, Wyoming versus Oregon. I'm probably going to do Wyoming versus California soon. And maybe a small town in California versus Casper. I don't know. And so I just wanted to see where people are watching from. So it's already started conversations.
Yeah.
The second thing is that when people call me, and I just started this like 3 days ago, they ask me a bajillion questions, right? So, oh yeah, wait, okay. So my horse is in a lot of my videos, and I think this is really funny. So they all think I should start. I get this all the time. People call me and tell me this. You should start Izzy should have her own channel. I don't know. I don't know how I would find content for 2 channels, but
maybe an Instagram account or TikTok account.
Yeah. But anyway, so the second thing is when somebody calls me, I get out my pen and paper, and every question they ask me, I write them down.
Mm-hmm.
And one guy gave me 10 video ideas the last time.
Wow.
Because he just asked me so many questions, and I thought I should have been writing this down the entire time.
Yeah.
Because they all ask me the same questions. Right.
So I love what you're doing here. You should absolutely keep that up with asking the questions. Maybe set it once a week. You do a poll or you do a question just to kind of get them involved and getting that engagement. And that's great that you're getting conversations started and then those are turning into leads.
Mm-hmm.
I've had similar experiences with live streams. It seems like when I can get a conversation started with somebody in a live stream, they're much more likely to actually call and email me kind of the next day. And so do you think you're going to make, like answering your top questions about Casper, Wyoming?
Yes. I also did one where I asked the locals if, what their favorite thing was about Casper or what they didn't like. And so I did a video on that. I don't know. I think last week, or I posted it last week. So, yes, I'm going to do that. And some of those I think I can make into a whole topic.
Yeah, I think so. And this is letting you know the type of information that people actually want to know, actually want to learn about in the area as well. I think that's absolutely a fantastic idea to kind of utilize that community tab in this way. So yeah, before we go, do you have what's your biggest tips for real estate agents, or what are some of the biggest mistakes that you're seeing other agents making right now that you could help them out with?
I think the biggest thing is consistency. So, and I have a problem too, because we do have this cycle, right? That we have a bunch of business and then we don't. I mean, that's just common, whether you're at just a higher level of it, right? So if you've been an agent, I've been an agent for 18 years. So you have your highs. I mean, you might be here, but you still are busier at a time and then you're not as busy. And so I think that that's the biggest thing for me. So if you're having a lull right now because it's Christmas, instead of just taking it off, make sure you're working, make sure you're doing videos. And I do have somebody help me write some of the scripts because I can't keep up. So I have a lady who's a real good friend of mine that writes in my voice, and she's become really, really good at writing in my voice. So I say, this is what I want it to say, and she'll write it for me. Sometimes I have it outlined. Sometimes I just say, go with it. But get a certain amount of them done so that if you are in that busy time, you can still post consistently, because I think that's a big deal. I don't think it matters what you're doing. If you're doing YouTube or Facebook or TikTok or whatever, you've got to be consistent with whatever you do. And I think that that's the hardest thing for any agent. Don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's the hardest thing. And you brought up a good point. You said that during COVID is really when you started hustling on this. That's when I really started hustling as well. I was like, all right, I'm stuck in my house for the next 30 days. Let's create some content. And we're entering into wintertime right now. We're in wintertime right now. Great time to lock yourself in your house and just start pumping out that content. And you're going to build up your channel during the winter months. As soon as springtime hits, all those leads will start popping to be ready to go.
Yep. And the other thing is, I think that it's overwhelming. I remember when we all went to that content creation grouping. I remember you talking about keywords everywhere, and all these things. And I thought, there's no way I can do this. So if you're sitting out there thinking you can't do this, you can. I mean, I'm proof of it. And I live in a small town. So I would say take the leap and get it done, because time passes anyways. You're going to, in a year, you're going to wish you would have started. And I'm super excited for what happens going forward with my channel. And I used to, look at your channel and think, oh my gosh, I want to be there, and I'm on my way. So
I think when we met, my channel was only about 2,000 subscribers back in 2019.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, it was somewhere around there. Now it's up to.
Where are you now?
23,000 subscribers, something like that on that channel. And then my outdoor channel, I've been focusing a lot on that lately. That's up to 143,000 subscribers.
That's so awesome.
But you can definitely hit it. Ken Pozak, he just hit 20,000 subscribers. Jeremy Knight just hit 10,000 subscribers. You could definitely keep hustling and hit these numbers in the next year or so.
And I think that's the other thing we were talking about before this. You've got to find what works for you.
Yeah.
So what works for me might not work for you. And so I think that's one thing. I think you have to find your voice, and you can't find your voice unless you start, right? No matter what video you're doing. And then the other thing is, like, I know that I'm going to get better watch time if I'm walking.
That's really, so I want to pull that up. That is really interesting. And, YouTube's all about recognizing these patterns in your videos. And if I look at your most popular videos, yeah, when you film them, you're right. You're walking as you're talking, which is really interesting. And so you think you've recognized this pattern that these videos get better watch time?
So I haven't been walking lately because it's been really windy.
Mm-hmm.
Like 80-mile-an-hour gusting. And so I can't walk outside. I've tried to walk around my office. It doesn't work as well. The lighting's not as good, as consistent, which maybe it's not outside either. But, and I just think, I just did one that should have gone crazy, I thought, because it was pros and cons by locals. That's the one I was talking about earlier. And it started real good, and then it didn't go as good, and I wasn't walking. So that's my hypothesis.
I love it. Yeah. Go and test that out. I mean, that's a great connection that you made right there. And for anybody watching, maybe you should try this style of video, get out your office and have somebody record you as you're walking.
Well, you're showing the landscape. You're showing, I walk along the river a lot. I've walked on the mountain. I've walked downtown. Like, people like those locations.
I have one where I start the video off with me walking and talking about the city. Yeah, let me show you one that I have, and it's one of my best videos about my city, where I start off the video in downtown Annapolis, and I kind of walk and I kind of talk to the camera, and that's just for the intro. One. Yeah, and then I transition into my my studio, but yeah, just having that intro of me actually in the city has really helped that video out. So yeah, maybe that's a connection that we should be making here.
I also like Ken Pozak, how he starts, he stands up or opens a door and comes out the door, and then just talks standing. I like that too. So I've tried that as well.
Yeah, and this space, we're still very early in YouTube, but there are getting cities that have multiple YouTube channels and getting some competition there. And that could be a great way to kind of distinguish yourself from somebody else who's creating content, just to kind of make yours a little bit different, have your own little spin on it. So I do love that. Yeah. So if anybody wants to check out my course, YouTubeLeadGen.com is where you can find that. And it breaks down, some pretty high level tactics on how to use YouTube, as well as a list of some of the recommended videos that I recommend everybody starts out with. And it's helped Alisha out, and it's helped dozens of other agents really crush it on YouTube. And Alisha, I just want to thank you so much for your time here, kind of sharing your tips about YouTube strategies. And I look forward to watching your channel grow. You're almost at 3,000. So 10,000 is going to be my goal for you by this time next year.
10,000?
10,000 subscribers. You can
I'll
do
write
it.
it on my list. I really want to hit 3,000 by the end of this year. So I'm real close. I think I'm 100.
You're right there. You're right there. It'll take you a fraction of the time to get your next 3,000 subscribers than it did to get your first 3,000
Okay,
subscribers.
let's go.
That's how that works. All right. Bye, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.